This is the last discourse in part 4 of The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings by Thich Nhat Hanh. The discourse is the discourse on right view, Samadhi Sutta. This is what I have heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeddah Grove in Anathapindika's park. At that time the Venerable Sariputra addressed the bhikkhus. "Friend," the bhikkhus respectfully replied. The Venerable Sariputra said, "How does a noble disciple practice right view, a view that is upright? How does he or she obtain unshakable confidence in the Dharma? How can he or she arrive at true Dharma?" "Friend Sariputra, we have traveled a long way to be in your presence, and we are happy to learn the meaning of these words. Please explain your statements, and after we have heard your teachings, we will bear them in mind." Please listen, friends, and give your full attention to what I say. Friends, when a noble disciple understands the unwholesome and the roots of the unwholesome, as well as the unwholesome and the roots of the unwholesome, then that disciple has right view, a view that is upright. He or she is endowed with unshakable confidence in the Dharma and has arrived at the true Dharma. Friends, destroying life, taking what is not given, and sexual misconduct are unwholesome. Lying, slandering, harsh words, and frivolous conversation are unwholesome. Covetousness, ill will, and wrong views are unwholesome. The roots of the unwholesome are greed, hatred, and delusion. Abstaining from destroying life, from taking what is not given, and from sexual misconduct. Abstaining from lying, slandering, harsh words, and frivolous conversation. Not coveting, not harboring ill will, and practicing right view are wholesome. The roots of the wholesome are the absence of greed, hatred, and delusion. When a disciple understands the unwholesome and its roots, and the wholesome and its roots, he or she entirely transforms the tendency to greed, removes the tendency toward hatred, and discontinues the tendency toward the I am view. He or she transforms delusion, gives rise to understanding, and right now in this very life puts an end to suffering. Well said, friend, the delighted bhikkhu spoke, and asked, "Is there yet another teaching on how a disciple practices right view?" Friends, when a noble disciple understands nourishment and making of nourishment, the cessation of nourishment, and the path that leads to the cessation of nourishment, that disciple practices right view. Friends, there are 4 kinds of nourishment that support beings who have already come to be and those who are seeking a new existence. They are edible food, coarse or fine, the food of sense impressions, the food of intention, and the food of consciousness. Nourishment originates where greed originates, and nourishment ceases when greed ceases. The path that leads to the cessation of nourishment is the Noble Eightfold Path. When a disciple understands this, he or she entirely transforms these tendencies. Yet another teaching on right view is that when the noble disciple understands suffering, the making of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering, he or she has right view. Birth, old age, sickness, death, grief, lamentation, pain, discontent, and agitation are suffering. Not to have what you want is suffering. In short, grasping the 5 skandhas is suffering. The creation of suffering is the thirst to be born again. which is associated with a delight in and attachment to the various pleasures found here and there. It is the thirst for the desire realm, the realm of being and the realm of non-being, the stopping of suffering. It is disappearance of desire, the ending of ideas, the giving up of, letting go of, liberation from, and refusal to dwell in the object of desire. The path leading to the cessation of suffering is the Noble Eightfold Path. Another teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands old age and death, the making of old age and death, the cessation of old age and death, and the path leading to the cessation of old age and death, he or she has right view. Old age is the decrepitude of being in the various worlds of living beings. It includes broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkled skin, the dwindling of life force, and the weakening of the sense organs. Death is the passing away of living beings from the various worlds of living beings, their shifting to other existences, their decomposition, disappearance, and death, the completion of their time, the disunion of the skandhas, and the laying down of the body. Old age and death originate where birth originates. The cessation of birth is the cessation of old age and death. The path leading to the cessation of old age and death is the Noble Eightfold Path. Another teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands birth, the making of birth, he or she has right view. Birth is the arising of beings in the various worlds of beings, their appearance, rebirth, manifestation of the skandhas, and acquisition of sense organs and sense objects. Birth originates where becoming originates. The cessation of becoming is the cessation of birth. The path leading to the cessation of birth is the Noble Eightfold Path. Another teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands becoming, he or she has right view. There are three becomings: becoming in the world of desire, becoming in the world of fine matter, and becoming in the non-material world. Becoming originates where grasping originates and ceases where grasping ceases. Another is that when a noble disciple understands grasping, he or she has right view. There are four kinds of grasping: the grasping of sensual desire, views, rules, and rituals, and a belief in separate self. Grasping originates where thirst originates. Grasping ceases where thirst ceases, and the Noble Eightfold Path. Another teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands thirst, he or she has right view. There are 6 classes of thirst: thirst for forms, sounds, smells, taste, touch, and objects of mind. Thirst originates where feelings originate, and thirst ceases where feelings cease. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands feelings, he or she has right view. There are 6 classes of feelings: feelings that arise from the eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. Feelings originate where contact originates and cease where contact ceases. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands contact, he or she has right view. There are 6 classes of contact: eye contact, ear contact. Contact originates where the 6 senses, organs, and objects originate. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands the 6 sense doors, he or she has right view. The 6 sense doors are the eye door, ear door, etc. The 6 sense doors originate where the mind-body originates. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands the mind-body, he or she has right view. The mind element consists of feelings, perceptions, volitions, contact, and mental attention. The body element consists of the four great elements and the form that results from the four great elements. The mind-body originates where consciousness originates. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands consciousness, he or she has right view. There are 6 classes of consciousness: eye consciousness, ear consciousness. Consciousness originates where the impulses originate. A further teaching on right view is when a noble disciple understands impulses, he or she has right view. There are 3 kinds of impulses: body impulses, speech impulses, and mind impulses. Impulses originate where ignorance originates. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands ignorance, he or she has right view. Ignorance is the failure to recognize suffering, the making of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Ignorance originates where the leaks originate. A further teaching on right view is that when a noble disciple understands the leaks, he or she has right view. There are 3 leaks: the leak of sensual desire, the leak of being, and the leak of ignorance. The 3 leaks originate where ignorance originates. And that is the end of the final discourse.